Good morning, class. Okay, today we are going to talk about fish. We've talked about chicken and poultry, we've talked about beef, and so now we are moving on to fish. So, just a little bit of review. You've seen this slide several times now. Fish is defined as shellfish and finfish. Okay, so there are two types of fish that we eat. Hopefully pretty regularly. Fish is a great form of meat. It's pretty lean. So you have low-fat fish, which has less than 5 grams of fat per basically the size of a deck of cards. The flesh is going to be white and delicate. This can be your white flaky fish. So this can be things like bass, carp, catfish, cod, haddock, pike, perch, whiting. All of those are going to be your flaky, light fish. Then we have our fatty fish. Fatty fishes have those omega-3 fats. They're really good for you. And they have more than 5 grams of fat per like a deck of cards size piece of meat. The flesh is firm. It's a little bit tougher, deep color, strong flavor, and it's going to be higher in calories, but it doesn't necessarily make it as like bad for you. That's going to be herring, mackerel, salmon, tuna, and rainbow trout. So I love me some tuna, I love me some salmon. So here's some pictures of some different fish that we get. You normally just see those fish already cut into a fillet of meat and you don't get to see the outside. So you can see this top left picture is carp, then we have pike below it, salmon, halibut, herring, and tuna. Tuna, I love that shininess. The halibut, you got some spots on it, right? The pike is a long and skinny fish. So, moving on to the shellfish. Shellfish is something really, really popular in the South. Okay, this is something that has a shell on it. From the ocean has a shell on it. So, you've got your crustaceans, which are going to have long bodies and jointed limbs, and they're going to be covered with a shell. So this can be, your bougie crab, your crayfish, your lobster, and your shrimp. And then we have your mollusk, which has the soft bodies. You can typically kind of crack them out of their shell. This can be things like clams, mussels, oysters, scallops, and squids. If you've never had bacon wrapped scallops, you really should try. It's delicious. Okay, here's some examples of pictures of these because, again, you might not have seen them before. Hopefully, we've all seen shrimp in the top left. We've all seen a crab. Then we have our crayfish, our squid. See our scallops in the pretty shell. I think scallops have the prettiest shell. I also just think they're the prettiest in general. When you pull them out, they're white and clean cut. You've got the lobster in the middle with its big claws, and then you have the oysters in the top right there. So one thing you do need to be careful about with fish is mercury. Fish is a great meat for us to eat every day, but mercury makes it not so great. So they say that if you eat fish 2 to 3 times a week, you're going to be in that safe zone for the amount of mercury. So mercury can actually be very harmful to pregnant women and children. You should eat no more than 12 ounces per week. Mercury is going to be the highest in the largest fish because they eat the most plankton, and plankton actually has the mercury in it, and it's passed to fish as they're being eaten by each other. And then when you get to the largest fish, you're going to have the most mercury. So this can be things like shark, swordfish, or king mackerel. Okay, fish that is safe to eat and you can really eat it as often as you'd like would be things like light tuna, salmon, pollock, catfish, sardines, and herring. So those are going to be pretty safe, very low levels of mercury. You don't have to worry about it. Mercury can be harmful for the body. It's a substance that a lot of people don't realize can be harmful, but it can. So buying fish. I hear people all the time say, I don't want to buy fish because I don't know if it's going to be good or taste fishy. I don't live by the ocean. Well, buying fish and shellfish can be easier than you think. So you're going to want to judge the three main things. This is going to be appearance, aroma, and touch. When you're looking at fish, you want a shiny skin, you want a glistening color. If that color is dull, it's probably not good, okay? You want clear, full eyes on that fish if you're going to buy it whole, okay? Bright red or pink gills. You want a mild or fresh aroma. If it is smelling strong like fishy, probably not a good move. You want it smelling more like the ocean if you were at the beach. And then the skin should actually spring back when you press on it. So a light press, if it springs back, you're good. If you press and it just stays, that's probably going to indicate that it's starting to break down and it's not fresh. Okay, so buying shellfish. Things like live clams, oyster, and mussels, you want them tightly closed and moist. If they are already open, you're not going to want to cook them, okay? Scallops, you want them to look moist but not liquidy. You want them to smell fresh like the ocean, not fishy. Okay, there is a difference there. Live lobster and crabs, you want them dark bluish green until they're cooked. And then, of course, when they're cooked, they turn that nice red color that we're all used to seeing, okay? You want to see live, active legs. The more alive these babies are, the more fresh they're going to be when you go to cook and eat them. Shrimp, preferably deveined. If you didn't know that shrimp that have the vein in them, that is their intestinal tract. So that is where they poop, okay? That is their poop. Now, it won't hurt you to eat it, but I think we can all agree that if you can get it deveined, it's probably going to taste better. Okay, so we're just going to go over a few cuts of fish. I think this is important to the food industry if you're ever going to, start working at a Papa Do's or I guess even a Captain D's from one end to the other. So you can sell a fish or produce a fish whole, okay? It is sold as caught. That's the easiest way to do it. For the fishermen, it is the most perishable way to do it though, okay? And you must have the most skill if you're going to buy a whole fish. You have to know how to descale it. You need to know how to remove the internal organs and all of these things. You can also purchase the fish drawn. This is the whole fish with scales and gills, but you have removed the organs, right? We don't eat the organs. We eat the flesh. Dressed, that's a drawn fish with the head and tail and fins removed. So that's going to be, for someone like me, I get freaked out by the head of a fish being on my food when I'm about to eat it, so I would just get mine dressed and it's already removed. And then fillets is what we see at the grocery store, the most common. That's going to be usually boneless, cut lengthwise away from the bone and the backbone, and then we have the nice fillet that we cook up on the grill. And then steaks are going to be cross sections cut from the large dressed fish, and this is definitely going to be things like a tuna or a salmon. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. I realize you can't respond to me. So here are some lovely pictures of what I just explained to you. I think this is a very clear-cut picture of how fish can be prepared. You've got whole, drawn, dressed, steaks, single fillet, and butterfly fillet. Storage. I promise we're almost done, everybody. So when you're storing fish, it is highly perishable. If you're going to buy fish to eat, you should buy it the same day, okay? Buy it the same day. You need to refrigerate or freeze it immediately and use within 1 to 2 days. Watch out for juices, cross-contamination, funny smells. All of that is not going to be good, okay? Damp cloths will help it stay longer if it's a shellfish. So that's a little tip for you. All right, my favorite part, cooking the fish, right? We're in our food class. We like to eat. You can broil your fish. You want it at least 1 inch thick. You can grill your fish. That's probably my favorite way to eat fish. You can bake your fish, okay? In like some nice juices, keep it moist, add some lemon juice. You can poach it, okay? Steaming your fish is also a possibility, like a mussels or clams. Braising your fish is going to keep adding liquid and cooking low and slow. Or my other personal favorite is frying your fish. I love some fried shrimp. I love some fried grouper. All of those things are delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something new about fish.